can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two but I am telling you.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing? I hope you are doing great. If you are new, my name is Lizzie.
What? I'm telling you, I'm getting the off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two but I am telling you right now, that back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not. I'm not going to.
Bye.
Okay, here's the story time for you. I've tried like 2 times to record this, but I keep going over the 3-minute limit, and I don't want to do a part 1, part 2 type thing, so I'm going to try to be specific. I was on that flight. It was American Airlines. We were leaving Dallas-Fort Worth. I was sitting in the left aisle, about 3 rows back from this woman. She was sitting in the right aisle, and she had this very interesting exchange with some dude in a hoodie. I don't remember the color of the hoodie. I really, you know how memory is. When you're not super paying attention, you don't remember all the details. I had one headphone in, couldn't hear all the specifics of what happened, but I noticed this exchange between this woman and this dude in a hoodie. And it was kind of weird at the time because it seemed like no one else before she really started getting frantic, like was paying attention to this, but that makes sense. It was like a normal flight. This was after putting all the luggage away. We'd been on the plane for a little bit. It was before the flight attendant came over and gave the little spiel. And what I remember is she was having like a full-blown conversation with this dude in the hoodie. I'll call him the hoodie guy. She was having a full-blown conversation with hoodie guy. The weird thing was that he never once said a fucking word to her the whole time. And at the time, I don't know, I wasn't really thinking about it. But it's like she would say something and he like would respond, but there was no exchange happening. It was just her getting more and more frantic. Which, okay, if she's drunk and she's going crazy, then you would think the dude in the hoodie would have been like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? But he was just like dead locked on her, like deep eye contact with her, like I don't want to feed into the conspiracies here, but like almost like she was like in a hypnosis type of thing. And she started getting more and more frantic to the point where then people started kind of noticing. Flight attendant came over, tried to calm her down, like, what's going on? She sat back down, but she kept looking over at this dude in the hoodie, and finally she was like done with it. And that's like when I really started paying attention, like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And that's when she was like, I can't do this. She started getting up. She started walking up to the front. And then the whole video thing happened. I didn't take a video of it. I was listening to a Stephen King audiobook. I wasn't like pulling out my phone to record this. And she didn't seem drunk to me, by the way. Just throwing that out there. I didn't see her drink. I mean, she seemed totally normal to me up until that point. The weird thing was after she left the plane, the dude in the hoodie, which the flight attendant was like, did anything happen? And he still didn't say a word. He just went like, and like shrugged. The dude in the hoodie like looked around the plane and he looked back at me and he winked at me. And again, I didn't quite register it. I was like, okay, what the fuck was that about? I was like, maybe he's just being like an ass, like winking, like that was weird, wasn't it? But now that I look back, I realized that when he winked at me and it was his left eye looking back at me, it didn't wink like this. It winked like this. And I didn't even register.
I don't need you to tell me how terrible I look. I've been traveling, it feels like a month, but I have to talk about this, okay? Because the whole way home in the truck, my phone was like this because I'm just so invested in this. This lady on the airplane, let's talk about it. I don't give a damn what y'all say, okay? I don't think for a second that lady was drunk. I don't care if she had 2 drinks at the airport. She ain't gonna be drunk off that. Let me tell you why I don't think she was drunk, and instead I believe she to be terrified. When she's standing at the beginning of the plane, I'm guessing getting ready to depart off of the plane, and she holds her 2 fingers on both hands and she says, you can believe me or not, I don't care, but that MFer, and when she went to say isn't real, she had to catch her breath. All right, that comes from anxiety right there. She had to catch her breath to get the rest of what she was trying to say out of her mouth with tears coming down her face. That was terror. And if you deal with that type of anxiety like I do, when you are afraid, you know exactly what she was doing in that moment. So I don't care what y'all say, okay? I'm going to be on this lady's side until somebody proves me otherwise. And there has been nobody, especially on this app, to prove it otherwise. I mean, everybody wants to hear from the woman, and so do I when she's ready, of course. But where's the man at? Where's he at? Can we get him on here and just even give us something like, I don't know what happened. I took my jacket off and tried to put my seatbelt on. All I know is she didn't think I was there. Tell us that. We ain't even got a video of the man. There's been like 10 videos I've seen of like 7 different men. We can't go off of that because we weren't on the plane. Nobody is confirming that they're the man. We cannot believe that. We cannot believe everything we see on the internet. But I am believing that this woman was terrified. Call me crazy if you want. I don't give a damn. I have seen something crazier in my life. I mean, it's been like 20 years ago, but y'all wouldn't believe me neither, and y'all would probably call me crazy. Okay? Let's just have an open discussion about this. What have you seen in your life? Okay? Are you too afraid to talk about it because somebody's going to call you crazy? Probably I ain't. Anyway, where is all the TikTok like units at where they can just like find anybody? Okay? Ain't nobody even found her yet. I'm even afraid to at this point. Last but not least, like I said, I'm going to be on her side because all we have in this moment is just her on that camera, okay? We have not heard details. We have not heard anything other than some other passenger claiming the lady was drunk. She's seen her at the airport bar or something. I can't go off of that, man. I can't go off of that. I got to hear from her or from the man or the not man. I don't know, okay? Either way, she sounded terrified, and I'm going off that anxiety feeling. I recognize it instantly. I'm on her side until further.
So here's how I explain this to my kids. When we found a dog, I posted it on here, and within 2 hours, I knew the exact address of the dog, the breed of the dog, all of the dog's brothers and sisters, everything. And I live in a town that is 4 square miles and has 700 people in it. It's absolutely insane. You mean to tell me that there is a plane in Dallas, Fort Worth that went and nobody knows this woman? No, I told my kids, if you had been on that plane and it was you in that, do you not think like you would have had people from your class that would have been saying, oh yeah, I know that girl, da 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 da, and they would have been posting on TikTok? They're like, oh yeah, nobody has done that. The only person who's done it is Carrot Top, and then this one other guy who said that the guy looked at him and winked at the end, and it was totally bogus. He was just trying to do it for. I said, the only one that I've seen has been an obvious like view grab. It's really weird. It's really weird. And here's the thing: the strange part of it is like she really looks believable. Yet, I'm just saying, it's very strange that we have not heard from anybody on the flight. We haven't heard from her unless she's in jail. Now, I can see where she's in jail, but we've seen a couple of angles from the plane, but we really have, I mean, I am going so far as to say I have been in media for a long time. I would not be surprised if this is some promotional thing for like a new destination, that horror movie franchise. Wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised the traction that it's getting. Or a false flag of some sort. I don't know.
This symbolism is Baphomet symbolism, and you guys are energy feeding into this shit, so understand symbolism.
This whole lady on the airplane seeing somebody who isn't real situation has me like super invested. It also brought up a suppressed memory from when I was 18 years old. My best friend and I, both 18 years old, decided to go to the grocery store to pick up some supplies to make her boyfriend a birthday. In front of the grocery store, there was this normal looking middle-aged white guy with kind of whitish hair sitting out in the front, basically preaching to people as they walk into the store. I grew up in Fresno, California. That is not something that's super uncommon. You will see people preaching on corners, at least around where I lived, pretty frequently. At the time, I was still pretty religious, and so I was polite and I stopped and let him talk to me. And the second I did that, my hair stood on end, like literally, I got goosebumps. My best friend got really uncomfortable and was like kind of tugging him around. I'm like, hey, let's go inside. And I was trying to fight that, like, I need to be polite, which I'm not like that anymore. But at the time I was like, no, I need to be polite and listen to him. But all of my alarm bells were going off. My body was even trying to warn me something was off. I remember looking into his eyes and seeing nothing. There's nothing there. Like, there's no light there. There's no, like, it was like he wasn't in there. I don't know how else to describe that, but it gave me a really nauseated feeling, and I could feel the chill in my body. It was Probably the scariest thing I've ever experienced. And I don't think he was on drugs or like drunk or anything. It was just like, he wasn't a person, and I don't know how else to describe that. So my friend and I go into the store and we keep looking over our shoulders. Like, we just feel like somebody's watching us, and sure enough, he is following us at a distance from aisle top. My best friend starts to get really upset. Like, her eyes get really watery. She's like, I want to go. And I'm like, okay, let's just buy our stuff. We'll make sure we tell the cashier, like, hey, can you have somebody walk us to our car and like basically report this guy? Like, he's following us around. It's creepy. Before we can get to the checkout line, he starts to approach us, and I'm like, hey, leave us alone. Like, we're told somebody that you're creeping us out and you're following us around. You need to back off. And he kind of like slinked off slowly. When we were checking out our stuff, I told the cashier, who was a guy, hey, this is what's happening. This guy's really creepy. And he's like, oh yeah, that guy kind of showed up the other day and has been out there all week. We've kind of told him to leave. The police come a couple times, but he keeps coming back. And when he went out to walk us to our car, the guy was just gone. And I just remember feeling so creeped out. Like, I even went a different way when I drove and like zigzagged and did circles and stuff to make sure, just in case, like, he wasn't following us. But I had totally forgotten about that incident until this video surfaced of this lady on the airplane. But if you've never experienced something like that before, like when you see somebody like that, like I said, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, his eye, like there was nothing in there. It was really terrifying. If anybody else has stories like this, I would love to hear them tell me.
kan haysatee maanta gabadhaan sheekadeedu cusub tahay gabadhaan diyaarad bay raaci rabtay diyaaradii way kasoo booday markay diyaaradii istiri kac bay kasoo booday waxay tiri no ninkay ag fadhiya wax weyn baa ka khaldan maba aha real bay tiri haddaa idinku raacisaano meel kula dhimanaysaan iyo haddii kale idinka idin jirta laakiin ani diyaaradda waa in la istaajiyo waa ka degaya ninkii bay sas ka qaaday inka harqabay talow muxuu ahaa waxaa la yidhi waa shape shifter oo maxaad ahayd waxaa la yidhi waa ruux isbedbedelo marna bisad noqonaya marna qof kale marna lizard waa qorato waxaan ku iri aniga invested baan noqday maanta dhansaan u raadinayay ninka wajigiisa inaan arko. You can't imagine. Women on the plane, #women on the plane, #shapeshifter. Yap, waaye ninka waxaan rabay inaan wajigiisa arko saa u eego. Soomaaliyeed baan ahay magta Soomaali baynu waxaan dhihi lahayn qof isbedelo waa u egyahay kani. Indhihiisa haddii la fiiriyo ama timihiisa ama wajigiisa يعني waxba noo bixi lahaa ilaa hadda waxa la leeyahay ninkii meel alaaliye meel ku dambeeyay iyo wuxuu yahay sawirkiisa qof soo dhigay iyo qof ka soo naagtiina ma soo hadlayso we are invested anigu horta waxaan ku iri feedkayga dhanba wuxuu noqday conspiracy theory iyo women on the plane iyo stitching women on the plane so idigu maxaad ka ogtihiin Soomaaliya wax wara ma ka haysaan shape shifter wax la dhaho ma naqaana mise waa khuruufaad iyo sheeko iyo waxaan.
Please don't forget to leave your opinion down below what you think. And don't forget to subscribe, turn on notification. Anytime I upload, you will be notified. Stay blessed and bye-bye.